Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 33. In the previous chapters, we have seen King Rukmangada, who was cursed by Vachaknavi's wife Mukunda because he rejected her advances and he was struck with a leprosy. And in the meantime, Narada met him and told him about Ganesha Kunda, in which anybody can get purified, as well the Chintamani Vinayaka. When Rukmangada wanted to know more about it, Narada told him the story of violation of Ahalya by Indra. One day, Indra, mesmerized by the beauty of Ahalya, he came to her hermitage in the guise of Gouthama, her husband. Unknowing about the fact that she is getting cheated, she welcomed her husband and abide by the orders and mated with him and had sex with him in the bed. And at the height of their sexual act, he realized that it is not her husband because of the divine fragrance coming out from Indra's body. And she was about to curse Indra, but Indra was adamant, saying that he is the lord of the triple world. But at that time, Ahalya is more worried about how her husband will receive the event, the unfortunate event that had happened. In the meantime, Indra slipped away from their hermitage in the form of a cat, while the sage Gouthama, as he entered, he got angry at what had happened and he cursed Ahalya to turn into a rock. And he also cursed Indra to have 1,000 vaginas all over his body. Now, Indra, unable to show his face and his completely deformed body, so he turned into a Indragopa beetle and hid himself in the lotus. And meanwhile, all the demigods they went to sage Gautama, pleaded with him, and they praised him, asking for a excuse, asking, and they basically apologized on behalf of Indra and asked for a remedy for what had happened. Finally, sage Gautama, pleased at the request of all the demigods, he told that only the supreme deity Vinayaka can save Indra and gave them a single syllable and the six syllable Divya Mantra of Gajanana to them and told them that by reciting this Indra's vaginas, which are marked all over his body, they will turn into eyes. So he become Sahasraksha. And on receiving that, all the demigods have now come searching for Indra. Narada continued the story. The gods said to the killer of Vratra, that's they are addressing to Indra, O Indra, please come out. You are a performer of 100 Ashwamedha for we are here with divine sage Narada. We went to sage Gouthama and appeased him, and we have come here to in search of you. He has prescribed a remedy and has granted a boon even to you. Though you have made the mistake, the sage Gouthama granted that boon to you. When the fault occurs, good people announce it to the public and they enact an appropriate remedy for the causing of it to be removed. If a fruit is hidden, it grows. If it is announced, it should disappear. Sorry, if a fault is hidden, it grows. Because if the Indra continued to hide his fault, it continues to grow. Whereas if he announces it and accept it in public that he had made a mistake, then that mistake can have a remedy. Therefore, Lord of the gods, after you have come out, you too must announce it, the mistake that you have done. Speak to the gods, sage, that means the divine sage, Narada, enact the remedy enjoined by the sage. Accept the Vinayaka's great mantra of 6 syllables at the marriage of Parvati, daughter of mountain. See, Parvati happens to be the daughter of Himalaya. So at the during the time of marriage of Parvati and Shiva, Brahma saw her big toe. Basically, they are trying to convince Indra that you are not the only one who made the mistake. So certainly, such mistakes have happened in the past by so many of them. Even Brahma himself had committed one such mistake, that during the marriage between Parvati and Shiva, Brahma saw her big toe and then split his semen. So immediately he ejected his semen, because just by seeing her toe, his his sexual arousal has happened. Ashamed by what had happened, he turned his face down and left the place. But knowing this, Mahesha went up to him and with that remedy made him without flaw. Mahesha excused him and told him that such things do happen to men quite often. So he consoled them. Even Brahma himself had struck by kama, struck by that sexual arousal. So there is nothing wrong with you. Whatever you have done, it has all been gone, and you are suffering because of that reason. And with this suffering, you need to find a remedy for that so that you can return to your normal life. The great uh, the great parampara, the great following in case of in our Sanatana parampara is the mistakes do happen, and even those mistakes are also at the mercy, at the decision of the divine. So, because of that reason, one cannot simply go on dying thinking about the mistake that they have done in the life. Instead of that, they should come out of that and find a remedy so that they can lead a normal life. The best thing that they can do is remorse about whatever mistake they have done, accept their mistake in the public and apologize for it, and then try to find a remedy here. So the gods have already come with a remedy for him. Straight after he had heard this eloquent speech uttered by the host of gods and the sages, Shakra, that means Indra, who had listened carefully to the words of all the gods who were there, came out of the lotus. O king, that means this story was told by Narada to Rukmangada. So he is addressing the king. His limbs were smeared with purulent blood. He was dirty and smelled putrid. When they saw him in such a condition, all the gods bowed to the Lord of the gods. And, O excellent king, after they had dressed his stinking fishers with bits of cloth, Brihaspathi, Lord of the world, taught the great 6 syllable mantra of Ganesha to Indra, who had bathed well and sipped water again. When he had recited it, he obtained a celestial body. The moment when he started reciting that, he got back his celestial body. He was glorious, possessed 1,000 eyes in place of vaginas. It turned into 1,000 eyes and shone as if he were another sun with such a brilliance. The regions and intermediate regions then resounded with the songs and the music of the heavenly musicians, the gods' shout of victory and the sounds of their musical instruments. The joyous gods all released showers of flowers, and then all the sages, led by Narada, offered benedictions. The joyous gods embraced him, and others praised him. Still others who were well pleased said to him, you protect us, but like a moonless sky, we cannot shine in your absence. Without their own parents, young children become unhappy in every way, exactly in the same fashion. We have now become parentless without you and Shachi. So both Indra and Shachi are like the parents for all the gods. So you need to return back to your Amaravati. Similarly, without you, we can never have a security. The sage Narada said, on hearing this speech of gods, the killer of Jamba really rejoiced. That's addressing to Indra. He really rejoiced and pleased. He told he told all the facts to the gods. Indra said, using the beguiling speech of the divine sage, I committed a very bad deed, produced an unbearable result. But now all of you have lifted me out of the great mire of evil. I bow to all the most excellent of the immortals, that's addressing to gods, and to all the sages whose majesty is so great. Therefore, you must all rescue me. You must all save me as I have come to you for your refuge, for my refuge. How did you manage this effort of Gouthama's pacification? Because Gouthama was so angry. How did he recite this supreme mantra for me? Tell me everything about this. Then, on hearing the question by Indra, the gods replied, after we had placed the sage and the teacher, that's Brihaspathi, before us, we left after we had bowed respectfully to the sage. He was conciliated with lovely ambrosial words, and when requested, he recited this very own mantra. By reciting it, you will become a thousand-eyed. For the good of all God, please proceed to your own Amaravati, and from there you rule the world and the gods. Indra replied back to them, I will not proceed to my own city right now, though simply by having that six syllable mantra, my body turned into a celestial body. All the marks of Vijayana are now turned into eyes. Now, simply by having that mantra, if such a miracle has happened, I do not want to drop it. I want to continue. I want to recite this mantra for several years and get the siddhi. And I wanted to have the darshan of Vinayaka, Gajanana, and with his blessing only I will return back to the heaven, to my seat in Amaravati. Without Ganesha's favor, O excellent sages and gods, the substance of your task has been completed. So return to your own celestial abodes, dallying joyfully. I have appeared long enough in public, immersed in shame and experiencing dire misfortune. This sage, with his fierce, fiery energy, has been conciliated, and by your favor, I have now become 1,000 eyes. Thus ends the 33rd chapter of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana, in which Indra is relieved from his curse. Sometimes bad things do happen for the sake of good. Indra was always seeking for the pleasure. And how long? He was having thousands of apsaras around him. But even then, he was still looking out for more women and trying to spoil the chastise of many other women. And some remedy need to be done for this. That is why Narada came there and he instigated Indra's pleasure seeking. Indra's lust was instigated by explaining the celestial beauty of Ahalya. On hearing this, Indra went there, did the worst of all the things, and because of that reason, he was cursed. And for his lifetime, he will now remember what curse he has got because of his lust for a woman. He got thousand vaginas. He was lusting for one. His lust was for one vagina of a woman, and he got thousand vaginas all over his body. And now he also got a six syllable mantra, and with the divine bless of Gajanana, he will be saved, and hopefully so forever for the rest of his life. He will never going to be such a pleasure seeking person as always a pleasure seeking, a lusty person. top of the throne, and on the throne is always dangerous. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.